Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandham at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order.
It's time for another edition of the Football by Numbers series. And on the docket today is jersey number 97 and the best National Football League players that ever wore this number. We'll have a discussion and give you a list of the top players to wear that number in just one moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of pigskindispatch.com. It's Football by Numbers Day. It's Tuesday, and we're going to choose the greatest NFL players to wear jersey number 97 in this episode. And there's some great players to talk about. We're dwindling right near the end. This is our third to last episode of these jerseys. Can you believe that? We've covered 97 of them so far because we started with zeros and double zeros. So actually 101 numbers if you count zero and double zeros, two separate ones. But they were in the same episode. Wasn't much to talk about there in the NFL. If you go back to that episode way back in February, we started the day after the Super Bowl with this series and have continued it straight through at least 2 to 3 every week since then, and we are very proud of this series. It is very popular. We thank you for listening to all these numbers that you have and celebrating these great players that have wore these jersey numbers. What a great way to remember them and memorialize their honor. Today, jersey number 97, the Pro Football Hall of Fame right now does not have any players that have been selected into Canton, Ohio that wore that jersey number 97, according to their records. And this is offline on the ProFootballHof.com website. So we're going to talk about these players that are not yet in the Hall of Fame, all of them, and some good ones to talk about. The very first one we're going to talk about wore the jersey number 97 for 14 seasons. Yes, is a member of the San Francisco 49ers, and he was drafted out of Notre Dame in the 1994 NFL draft and played with the 49ers from 94 all the way through 2007. And that's right, I'm talking about defensive tackle, defensive end, Bryant Colby Young. Bryant Young. Great player. In his career, he had 89.5 sacks, 519 solo tackles, 12 forced fumbles, and most played the left defensive tackle. Did have 1 year, 2004, where he was listed as playing the right defensive tackle, and then went to left defensive end 2005, 2006, 2007. So they must have had a little bit of a change in their defensive scheme and wanted to use his pass rushing ability just a little bit more, so get him out in the end instead of the tackle. So he his playing weight was 291 pounds, 6'3", and he made it to 4 Pro Bowls, one time as an All-Pro, and won a Super Bowl championship. Number 97, all 14 years of his career, and Bryant Young will be our first player we are going to place on our list of the honored of the top number 97s in NFL history. Now, Leroy Glover is another great player. Wore the jersey number 97 for 12 seasons as a member of the Oakland Raiders in the 5th round of the 1996 NFL draft. He came in. Now, he only played with the Raiders that 1 year, 96. Then he went to the New Orleans Saints from 97 through 2001, and then was a member of the Dallas Cowboys 2002 to 2005, and spent his last 3 years, 06, 07, 08, with the St. Louis Rams. So great career. 97, his entire career, except for his very first year in Oakland. So keep that in mind. 97 most of the time. He made it to 6 Pro Bowls, 1 time as an All-Pro, and he was an all-decade team of the 2000s per the Hall of Fame. He had 83.5 sacks during his career, 437 solo tackles, 16 forced fumbles in 193 games. Leroy Glover, the defensive tackle / nose tackle of all those teams, is the second player that'll go on our list of the greatest players to wear number 97 in NFL history. Now, Geno Atkins, another player that has wore that jersey number 97 for double-digit years, 11 seasons for Geno Atkins. Now, he has been with the Cincinnati Bengals from 2010 through 2020, and he has had quite a few sacks himself. 75.5 sacks, 228 solo tackles, 8 forced fumbles in 161 games. And he made it to 8 Pro Bowls, pretty good there, 2 times as an All-Pro, and he was an all-decade 2010s decade team for the Hall of Fame. And, he came out of the University of Georgia in 2010 when the Bengals drafted him as the key cog in that Bengals defensive line that they so needed. And he really anchored that line for so many years. 6'1", 300 pounds. Geno Atkins, another player going onto our list right away, right out of the gate. That's 3 down. And Simeon Rice, could he be another one that we'll put on there? Well, Simeon Rice was a defensive end, played college at the University of Illinois, and he was drafted by the Arizona Cardinals in 1996 draft. Played with the Cardinals for 5 seasons, and then in 2001 went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and played there for 6 seasons. And then in 2007, his final year, he played on 2 different teams, the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos. He had 122 sacks during his career, so triple-digit sacks. 403 solo tackles, 28 forced fumbles. That's quite a bit of luck. 174 games played, 3 Pro Bowls, 1 time as an All-Pro, and, of course, that Super Bowl championship for the 6'5", 268-pound defensive end of the Illini originally. And Simeon Rice, another one going right on our list as our top 10 best 97s. Cornelius Bennett. Now, how many of us remember Cornelius playing? He was a great linebacker that came out of the University of Alabama, and he was picked in the 1987 NFL draft by the Buffalo Bills. And he played with the Bills from 87 through 95 through those great Super Bowl teams that they had, and then spent 3 years with the Atlanta Falcons through 98 season, and his last 2 years, 99 and 2000, as an Indianapolis Colt. He had 71.5 sacks during his career, 1,048 solo tackles, so 4-digit tackles, 31 forced fumbles, 206 games, and wore that jersey number for 11 seasons, most of those with the Bills and Falcons. He did have 1 year where 3 years where he wore jersey number 55, 87, 88, 89. But if you remember right, that's about the time when the NFL loosened up their grip, and they said, hey, you can wear 90s as linebacker. So for some reason he changed from 55 and went into number 97. But most of his career was with the 97. Great player, 6'2", 237 pounds, and he is another one that's going to go on there. Played in 4 Super Bowls. Cornelius Bennett going on our list as our 5th player overall. How about a current player that's wore the number 97 for 11 seasons, a defensive tackle? Yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers' very own Cameron Hayward. Came out of Ohio State Buckeyes program, and he came with the Steelers in the first round of the 2011 draft, has been a Steeler ever since, still playing this season at a very high level. As a matter of fact, the last 4 years, he has made the Pro Bowl, and those are his 4 Pro Bowl years. Many thought he should have made a Pro Bowl prior to that because he had some great seasons. He has been a 2-time All-Pro as well, 97 his entire career. He has had 59 sacks total in his career, 299 solo tackles, 7 forced fumbles, 153 games. He is 6'5", 295 pounds, and bats a lot of balls down too. Just great with his hands, great technique, and he is a hard one to handle for those offensive linemen to keep off. A lot of double teams he takes on, and that opens up for some of the other guys when they do that. So he is quite the player, captain of the Steelers defense for many years now, and just a fantastic player. Cam Hayward also going on our list of our best players that wore jersey number 97. Now, Patrick Kearney is another great player that is played recently. 1999 through 2006, he was an Atlanta Falcon. And then 3 years with the Seattle Seahawks, 07, 08, 09. And Kearney came out of the University of Virginia's program. He made it to 2 Pro Bowls, one time as an All-Pro, 82.5 sacks, 372 solo tackles, 19 forced fumbles for Patrick Kearney, the defensive end. We'll hold judgment on him. We'll come back to him and see if we can put him on our list. But we would like to talk about Dan Salamoa, the defensive tackle, nose tackle, defensive end, played everywhere on the defensive line. 6 foot tall, 305 pounds, and he came out of Arizona State was his college. He was picked in the 7th round of the 1987 NFL Draft by the Detroit Lions, and he was a Lion for 2 seasons, and then went to Kansas City for 8 years after that. Finished off his last 2 years, 97 and 98, as a member of the Seattle Seahawks. And in his career, 35.5 sacks, 546 solo tackles, 4 forced fumbles, 1 Pro Bowl. Dan Salamoa, we'll take a look at him later on as well. Everson Griffin, another defensive end, 6'3", 273 pounds, played for USC during his college days, and he came in as a Minnesota Viking in 2010, and played with them through the 2019 season. Last year he played with both Dallas and Detroit, and this year he's back as a Minnesota Viking, so very interesting, still playing at a high level. 82.5 sacks for Everson, 280 solo tackles, 9 forced fumbles, 164 games, has made it to 4 Pro Bowls. Very outstanding for Everson. Everson is going to go on our list as our 7th player making the list, to go along with the others we've talked about earlier. Another player we would need to talk about is defensive end Calvin Pace. Played for Wake Forest in his collegiate career, 2003 through 2007 as a member of the Arizona Cardinals, and then was a New York Jet from 2008 all the way to 2015, so 8 years in the gang green. And he was just another fantastic player. 60 sacks in his career, 470 solo tackles, 21 forced fumbles, 187 games, 6'4", 265-pound defensive end. Love the rush that passer, that's for sure. Calvin Pace, another one we'll look at the end. There's a few more players to talk about. Henry Thomas. He played for the Minnesota Vikings, was drafted by them in the 3rd round of the 1987 NFL Draft, was a Viking all the way from 87 through 1994, then went to rival Detroit for 95 and 96, and New England Patriots 97 through the 2007 season, wearing 97 his entire career with Minnesota, which spanned 8 seasons. 93.5 sacks during his career, 868 solo tackles, 19 forced fumbles, 2 Pro Bowls for Henry Thomas, the nose tackle, defensive tackle of all those great teams. Great player for Henry Thomas. He's another one that we're going to want to take a close look at when we go into deliberations here. How about Kelly Gregg, another nose tackle, defensive tackle, that played for the Cincinnati Bengals in the 6th round. He was drafted in 1999 NFL Draft, played for Oklahoma Sooners in his college days, and actually, let's see, he played in 1999 for the Philadelphia Eagles, and so he never did play with the Bengals. He was just drafted by them. 2001 through the 2010 season, Baltimore Ravens, and the Kansas City Chiefs in 2011. So drafted by the Bengals, but never played with them, went to Philadelphia right away. He wore number 97 for the bulk of his career. It looks like 10 seasons with Baltimore and Kansas City. And 20 and a half sacks, 396 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles. What a run stuffer and clogging up that middle. Kelly Gregg, great player. No Pro Bowls for him, but still a superior effort on that gentleman. Ronaldo Wynn, another defensive end, defensive tackle, wore 97 for many seasons with the Washington Redskins, Jacksonville Jaguars. That's 11 seasons he wore it. Also played with New Orleans and the New York Giants and Washington Redskins again at the end of his career. 27 sacks for him, 268 solo tackles, 5 forced fumbles. Never in the as an All-Pro or in the Pro Bowl. Notre Dame was his college when he played collegiately. And our next player to talk about is Tim Harris, the left outside linebacker that was drafted by the Green Bay Packers in the 4th round of the '86 draft. Stayed with the Packers for 5 years, then was a San Francisco 49er off and on for 4 seasons, Philadelphia Eagle smack dab in the middle of his 49ers career, and 81 sacks, 536 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 1 Pro Bowl, 1 All-Pro, 1-time Super Bowl champion. Tim Harris, a great player. Take a look at him at the end. Rufus Porter, another linebacker, defensive end that played with Seattle for most of his career, 1988 through the 1994 season. Then a couple years with New Orleans Saints, 1 with Tampa Bay, and wore 97 his 7 years in Seattle, where he had 41 sacks, 482 solo tackles in his NFL career, 2 forced fumbles, 135 games, 2 Pro Bowls, and he played for Southern University was his college. Another one to look at, Malik Jackson, the longtime player of the Denver Broncos, 3 seasons with them, 2012 through 2015. Jacksonville Jaguars for 3 years after that, 2 with Philadelphia, 1 in 2021. He's with the Cleveland Browns this year. He may have more than 1 with Cleveland. 35 and a half sacks so far, 201 solo tackles, 1 Pro Bowl, 1-time Super Bowl champion, of course, with the Philadelphia Eagles. With the Denver Broncos, So Malik Jackson, another one to take a look at. One last one we'll talk about, Jason Hatcher, defensive end that played for the Dallas Cowboys for the majority of his career, 8 years, 2006 through 2013. 2014-2015, he was a Washington Redskin. 34 and a half sacks during his career, 177 solo tackles, 1 Pro Bowl, 97 his entire career. So those are our great candidates here. And just a refresher, we have 7 in already for our top 10. Bryant Young, Leroy Glover, Geno Atkins, Simeon Rice, Cornelius Bennett, Cameron Hayward, and Everson Griffin. And I'm going to put Henry Thomas as our 8th one to put on that list. And I think Patrick Kearney will be our 9th. And I think Calvin Pace will be our 10th. To round out our top 10 greatest NFL players that wore jersey number 97 in the history of the NFL so far. Boy, that's a great list to talk about, and we hope that you remember some of these players. And if not, maybe there's some that you learned about today. And so we appreciate you listening and helping to preserve that football history. So pass it on to some friends that we have all these jersey number episodes out there for you, your listening pleasure. You can find them on your favorite podcast provider. You can go to sportshistorynetwork.com and find all of them there, or you can go to our website, pigskinddispatch.com, where we have all of those along with the blog posts that go with them. The top 10 lists are on there, and we have plenty of other great articles on football history and the great people of football. Altogether, we're up over 500, 600 different episodes of blog posts and over 500 podcasts just on pigskinddispatch.com. Of course, we have that great search engine. If you go on pigskinddispatch.com, there's a little search box on the right upper side. Click on anything football related, names, teams, whatever, phrases, and you should get some good results there from both Pigskin Dispatch, the Sports History Network, and our friends that have some great football websites that we want to make sure you are the most informed fans out there on football history, and we're happy to do that for you, and we're glad that you listen to us. We thank you so much once again. Until tomorrow, everybody, have a great gridiron day. At the Sports History Network, we're all about sports yesteryear, and so we're so pleased to introduce you to Row One, an online memorabilia gallery and shop that brings you sports history to life anywhere. The Row One gallery includes over 5,200 gorgeously reproduced prints of team posters, game program covers, game tickets, advertisements, and more in baseball, pro and college football, pro and college basketball, and more. And any gallery item may be printed in a variety of sizes on wood, metal, canvas, acrylic, or poster paper. And in Row One shop, check out the thousands more of unique items with the retro and historical designs dating back to 1876, including t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, phone cases, mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com, ROW1, for access to the full Row One catalog and for gallery prints and gift items, plus get a 15% discount off all prints on the Row One Pictorum Gallery with coupon code SHN15. Follow the link on the show notes. That's all the football history we have today, folks. Join us back tomorrow for more of your football history. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
At the Sports History Network, we're all about sports yesteryear, and so we're so pleased to introduce you to Row One, an online memorabilia gallery and shop that brings you sports history to life anywhere. The Row One gallery includes over 5,200 gorgeously reproduced prints of team posters, game program covers, game tickets, advertisements, and more in baseball, pro and college football, pro and college basketball, and more. And any gallery item may be printed in a variety of sizes on wood, metal, canvas, acrylic, or poster paper. And in Row One shop, check out the thousands more of unique items with the retro and historical designs dating back to 1876, including t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, phone cases, mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com, ROW1, for access to the full Row One catalog and for gallery prints and gift items, plus get a 15% discount off all prints on the Row One Pictorum Gallery with coupon code SHN15. Follow the link on the show notes.